And here we go again.
Here we are.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey, I said it this time.
There you go.
Hey, I got it.
Welcome, everyone, to Sideshow America. My shoelaces just came untied.
Mine too.
Do you guys remember the time, and I hate saying it because it's President Bush. I'm sorry to bring it up. That's old school.
Little Bush or Big Bush?
Little Bush. Americans don't negotiate with terrorists. Yeah. And I remember working in different warehouses, different jobs, and that's what a majority of Americans were all about. We're not going to negotiate with the ragheads. That was kind of a typical thing I heard all the time.
Yeah, you can't.
And what's happened? Because I feel like the last few years we've turned into a lawless country, and we're starting to negotiate with terrorists, with terrorism in our own country.
Yeah, it's become okay.
It has, and I don't even know where to start on the subject. I don't even know where to start because I think about the BLM riots, and because of those riots, Disney became woke. A lot of these companies became woke. They tried passing laws, tried locking up different people defending their homes. There's disclaimers. Rittenhouse, and Rittenhouse. And of course he won, but I guess where I'm coming from that I'm upset about is why was he even on trial? I'm not trying to talk about Kyle today. I'm just noticing the news the last few weeks. We're starting to become a lawless country. The border? Yeah. There's how many laws are being broken? How much drugs are being trafficked? Human trafficking. People just coming into the country.
Well, and let's face it, it's not like there's doctors and lawyers, crossing the border. There's a lot of different people coming over, but most of them, they're kind of leaving their shit country to come to ours because it's a lot better.
That's right. Not trying to get out, they're trying to get in. All these liberals, all of them that are going to leave the country. Who is with the crappy music, man? This last week it said after Roe v. Wade, after that was overturned, he's not going to come back to the country, and his music sucks anyways. I think it was Green Day. Green Day.
Well, I know Bruce Springsteen a while back, he said he was going to leave too, and yet he's still here. So
we made the millionaires.
Yeah,
we did. Us people.
America.
So back to the lawlessness. This last weekend, I don't know if you saw some of the stuff happening on 4th of July. Just the shootings.
Oh yeah.
Did you see that one video with the drive-by where they're shooting fireworks at people? They're just terrorizing the whole town.
That's kind of fucked up.
Well,
messed up. So
and then we have these riots with abortion. A few weeks ago, because we missed our episode where we're going to talk about that. And because of it, Biden wrote an executive order, and that's the point I'm bringing up. Why are us Americans, I don't care what side you stand on, why are we putting up with acts of terrorism? Churches are being attacked. Clinics that are there to help women that don't quite know what to do with their babies were demolished. Not all of them in the country, let's be fair. We have acts of terrorism. We have protesting out front of the Justice's house, and we have the leader of the nation that heard. I want to say it's terrorism, because I think it's a lot different than a march. Even though we may not agree with abortion, people are going to stand up and they're going to try to fight. Yeah. I get it. I think they're nuts, but we're talking about acts of violence. We're talking about destruction, and we're hearing it. And this is what happened with BLM. If you think about how many of those people got their way. I can't believe that there is not one single organizer of BLM that was held accountable. I don't understand how we could have marches where, tell me if I'm wrong about this, I feel like a few years ago, if you organized a march and the city was destroyed, even though the organizer, they didn't intend for that to happen, I feel like somebody's like, hey, well, you got some responsibility.
Someone would be held accountable. Definitely.
Even though that's not what you wanted, because, I mean, if I put together an event and someone gets hurt, I'm sued.
Yeah, well...
And a march is an event. You're supposed to peacefully protest.
Well, throwing bricks through windows and lighting buildings on fire doesn't seem very peaceful. What pisses me off a bit is, on one hand, you have that, and those are peaceful protests, and then you have people going to the Capitol, and that's an insurrection. People marching on a building that's technically theirs.
Well, I had an interesting conversation about that the other day, about lawlessness and insurrection. And I'm going to pick on liberals for a moment, because I hear one side of their conversation, and then the other side of the conversation, they do have the same arguments as Republicans. For example, they don't want to pay their taxes, but they'll complain that the Republicans don't want socialism, don't want some of the social programs, but yet they'll argue that they don't want to pay taxes either, that liberals don't. And I feel like it's the same argument, no matter how you look at it. We all don't want to pay for people out there. We don't. And the reason why, I'm bringing that up, that they just don't know what they're talking about, is when I'm hearing, we're talking about January 6th, and this conversation was to the point of, they thought it was horrible what happened on January 6th. It was the insurrection, that they can't believe the crazy Trumpers, And then at the same side of the conversation, they're talking about abortion and the rights being taken away and being banned. And that's a subject I want to get on a little bit, that abortion has not been banned. Please go be educated. It has not been banned. I hate to tell you conservatives, abortion's not gone. You liberals, abortion's not gone.
You can still kill your kids.
You can. And I'm sorry to tell all of you guys this. But after this, we had this conversation. The conversation continued on where they're talking about burning the government down to the ground, and burn it all down. I bit my tongue because I'm outnumbered in this room, where I'm, doing my thing. And I was just thinking, you just now had a problem with January 6th, but now you're saying to burn everything down to the ground.
Yeah.
And the thing is, we own that building.
Yeah.
That building is
our building.
We hired those people. Those people were the ones that pay their wages. And for whatever reason, I'm not sure why some Americans have agreed to those wages. I'm not sure why we're agreeing to still paying them. I'm not sure why we still are agreeing to the taxes. I'm not sure why we are still agreeing. So I do believe, and I'm not talking about invoking violence. That's not what I'm talking about. We are the bosses, and I do feel like it's okay for us to show up for a surprise inspection, a surprise visit. What exactly is going on here in this room?
Aren't they supposed to work for us? Isn't that the whole point of the government? The government's supposed to work for the people?
Exactly.
What happened to that, And I can tell you who agreed on the wages. Congress. You look at the inflation and all the problems with the things. Congress. They're the ones who vote on these things. They're the ones who passed the laws. When they get a raise, they voted on their raise. We didn't vote on their raise.
Exactly, we didn't.
Yeah. So it's kind of reminds me of that thing we had with the British, a couple hundred years ago, that taxation without representation. The same sort of thing's happening. We're not putting these people in there. We're not telling them you can give yourself a raise, and yet they're still doing it. And when we do a surprise visit on one of the buildings that's ours, now it's a problem. That's an insurrection. You want to put the Viking guy in jail for 20 years? What did he do? He sat at a desk. Come on.
A desk, might I add, that we own.
Yeah. Yeah, our desk. It's kind of like getting arrested for parking a car in your parking spot. It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. And I hate these conversations where when the buildings were burned down during BLM and the businesses were tore down and some of the people beat up, we kept hearing about, we don't understand what it's like to be them. We don't understand their history and the torment and the anger, the hatred, what they go through every day. But they were destroying private businesses. private homes. They were on private property. This insurrection, that's ours. That's public.
Yeah.
That's every Chinese, black, white, Scottish man that pays taxes and that votes. That's their house. You know.
Right. Well, and was the insurrection? I don't know why I call it that. That's stupid. If you know what insurrection means, it was not an insurrection. You know, but that wasn't very violent. And you look at the BLM, you know, riots. We call them riots, you know, because that's kind of what they were. Those were pretty damn violent. How come nobody bitched about that? That's my point.
Exactly. That comes back to the point of the lawlessness that's going on in this country. Everything is being turned upside down. We don't know what gender we are. You can't say mother. You have to say birthing person. What do they call father now?
Sperm donor?
Sperm donor. It's just everything. The lawlessness that's happening in our country, which leads us to talk about this story, which we are a couple weeks behind. But here's the problem with the country: we have short-term memory loss. We have forgot about BLM. We're starting to forget about COVID. We're starting to forget about a lot. Everybody is.
Short attention span.
And you know what's funny is how some people will start explaining what really happened. It's like, dude, that was just 2 years ago. What the hell are you talking about? We forget real easy. Yeah. And the thing is, we're too forgiving. Maybe it's the marijuana. Maybe it's the video games. Maybe it's the alcohol. Maybe it's the pornography. Maybe we just want to go on and get high.
It's the water.
And look at breasts. I mean, that's more convenient than standing up and wanting to get heated up.
Well, it's easier.
It is easier. But we have Hunter Biden's laptop. We have these leaked phone calls. We have some things going on that the American people, we're letting too much go. And the one thing that I just found amazing, and anyone that's listening to this can correct me, you can correct me. I'm hoping that I missed something on a story. This woman, and everyone's talking about, can you believe everything that's coming out about Trump? Lots more is coming out. This woman that's talking about, and everyone's gonna know I'm talking about, this limo, this scene happening in the limo, like this Hollywood scene. It seems like Bruce Willis should have been involved with this.
Yeah.
A couple years ago. You can't walk, but see, they're all the same age.
Die Hard 5. You know?
They're all the same age. Die Hard 5, you know, they both are hobbling around. And here is President Bush. Sorry, President Trump. It's been a long day. President Trump just is lunging across this limo.
Yeah, let me remind
grabbing
you,
onto the steering wheel. Now, before I know you're going to go with this, but before you do, let me make my point really quick. Just a few years ago, you remember all the newscasts concerned about the way he was holding his water. He was struggling drinking the water, and then they're trying to question how he was walking down the ramp that one time. Now all of a sudden, Die Hard 5 is happening, in our capital. It's this insurrections going on. He's just,
I'm the goddamn president. You'll take me where I want to go.
I mean, man, what a movie.
No, well, it's funny, too, because, they were, Pelosi was talking about, enacting some law where to see if he's old enough, like see if he's too old, too incompetent to do stuff, That was before Biden. I mean, so can't say much about that. But, how can you go from being a senile old man to a man that can lunge 18 feet, people? The president
can't walk down a ramp and can't drink a glass of water.
Yeah, I mean... the Beast is the name of
the Viagra.
That's some good Viagra. Maybe it was Cialis. I think it lasts longer. But he was in the Beast, the presidential limo. That's 18 feet long, folks. And if anyone's ever been inside a limo, the important people sit in the back. The steering wheel is at the front.
Do you really think he could lunge? Trump. You know how much McDonald's that guy eats?
Yeah.
I mean, that's one thing.
I can barely lunge. I can't lunge 18 feet, I tell you that. I can't lunge 15 feet, 10 feet, maybe 6 feet. But that's my point, How do you get through the glass? How do you touch the limo driver when you're way in the back? How do you lunge? I mean, to me, it seems like you'd fall down. If you tried to lunge in a moving vehicle, you're going to fall down.
But see...
He's not a basketball player. He's not a football player. No, I'm not. I assumed.
But see, here's the thing, though. Here's where you are wrong about everything you just said. You're 100% wrong. And here's where I'm wrong and everyone listening to this is wrong. This shouldn't be talked about right now. Because here we go, subject of the show, the lawlessness in the country. When did they allow hearsay in a court hearing?
They don't. They still don't.
Now, help me understand this, because, guys, I haven't been doing my studies very heavily this last week, couple weeks. This is a hearing, correct, on them gathering evidence on the country falling apart on the 6th, correct? I mean, this isn't just something where they're just talking and they're trying to, like, see what they should allow and talk. This is a woman giving a testimony for
under
a record,
oath.
correct? Under oath.
Yeah.
So I just want to make sure I'm not misunderstanding something here.
No, and, hearsay is an out-of-court statement offered to prove the truth of what it asserts. That's the textbook definition of hearsay, and they don't accept that in court. I mean, you could say it's not accepted. It's not reliable. You can't go with that.
And the reason being, and you can jump in on this, is because someone I don't know could pay me, $10, because gas is expensive, so they probably don't have much money left over, to testify for them in court, something I heard about.
Yep. Yeah, you could assassinate someone's character, pay $10. Hey, say you don't like Joe. Here's $10. Okay, no problem. I don't like Joe. Joe's a bad guy. Like, the main question I have is, why in the hell is this still going on, this January 6th? I mean, don't we have more important shit to spend our resources on?
Do you know, here's the thing, I don't want to change the subject too much on this, but everyone is talking about January 6th, and everyone is talking about abortion and women's rights. Right now, while everyone's arguing about this, and everyone, right, we're still on this BLM kick, we still are against slavery, we still are going to fight this, the slavery battle, even though there's no more of this. And the thing is, I'm tired of the white and black thing being picked on. We need to stop separating races. It was an elite thing. It was a bunch of assholes that were elite that were involved in this. But here's the thing. We are still buying sneakers. We're still buying product that's made
by children in slave labor.
Exactly. And right now, we don't give a shit. Most liberals don't, especially, about what's happening in the border. Do you realize how many millions of dollars are being made with that border being opened for sex trafficking? There are sex slaves. More than likely, more than half of them are underage. I'm not going to give numbers because I want to be accurate with my information, so I'm only going to give the information I know is accurate. No one talks about that. No one cares. All these people that are about human life and human rights, that are all about defending women, where are they right now? These women are being slaughtered in our own country under a slave trade. You guys, these liberals don't give a shit. When they sit there and whine and cry, they have a nice cell phone.
No, they're in their gated house.
They have their gated house or a nice apartment. A little lesbian action on the weekend after their feminist rally march. It's true. They went and got their new piercing. And you know what they're doing? They're getting high with their Molly this weekend that was probably brought from the cartel across the border. The cartel is involved with human trafficking. How come they're supporting that? You just go march in BLM and you're going to destroy things, but that, I don't know. That's, sucks to be you. Are we racist against Mexicans and Mexican children?
Hey, that was something that was brought up during the BLM movement. A bunch of Mexicans. What about us? Yeah, Black Lives Matter. But what about brown lives? They built a lot.
Maybe they're not dark enough to matter.
Well, I'm not elite enough to answer that question.
And this goes back to what I'm talking about, lawlessness.
Lawlessness and segregation. I still say, you're born here, you're an American. You're not African American. You're American.
What are you if you're white in Africa? Are you an American African?
No, you are African at that point. A lot of South Africa is white. That's where a lot of the money is. Look at Egypt. People forget Egypt is part of Africa as well.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know, they had a slave trade too. How come?
Yeah. You know who had the biggest slave trade? The Africans. The Africans and the British. People forget it was the British people that had the slaves. You know, like, we're not British. We're American now. We changed. Americans don't have slaves anymore. I never had slaves. But I still say, yeah, segregation. You got to have, you're American or you're not. That's it. You know, quit the hyphenating, Mexican American, African American, fuck that. If you're born here, you're American.
If you are American in the kitchen, then you're rushing down the hallway. What are you in the bathroom?
European.
There you go. Segregation. Those three things you can't have together. You can't be peeing in the kitchen.
No, that's true.
Yeah. And when you're running down the hall, you can't run and pee at the same time.
Well, not in America. You know. I'm sure in another country. You know Victoria's Secret?
Yes.
Yeah, her clothes are made in Sri Lanka. That's the secret.
Children labor?
Yep, child labor.
Oh, wait. So the feminists that are joining on this BLM thing that are other Victoria's Secret.
You're actually supporting child labor. Thank you.
So sick of the hypocrisy. I am so sick. I'm sick of having conversations with hypocrisy. I am. I don't want to rattle on the people that are my friends or people that are close to me, because if they happen to listen to this, they're going to get pissed at me. But I cannot tell you how many conversations I have, and I said part of it already at the beginning, where they just are putting down the Trumpers, Republicans, and I hate to tell them, a lot of these people are not Trumpers or Republicans. A lot of them are actually liberal. No side wants to hear. I know people that are liberal, that don't follow politics, that are horrified at some of the abortion policies that they're trying to pass. They're horrified at what Biden's doing. They're stereotyping stuff. They're stereotyping, like he's a hardcore Trumper. No, maybe he's not. He doesn't know what's going on. He's seeing he doesn't want to take the vaccine. Well, those white Trumper. Well, he's not white. He's Asian, and he doesn't even know who Trump is. And I mean, I'm kind of making a story right now, but I do know different ethnicities right now that voted for Biden and don't trust what's going on right now. So they're not Trumpers.
Well, it kind of seems that's what we do. We like to label things. You know, you're black, you're white, you're gay, you're straight, you're bi, you're non-binary, you know.
I have to label everything.
Yeah, you know, why can't people just shut the fuck up and accept people for who they are? I mean, why does everyone got to talk about it and put labels on it, you know?
Well, I mean, if you think about it, when you're a transgender unicorn, you might want to know what's going on with this person.
Or if you're that 45-year-old that shits himself, has a live-in mommy and crib in his room. Yeah. I don't know. You know, back to your lawlessness, I think it kind of goes back to what we were talking about a few shows ago. When you castrate a bull, he can't charge anymore. He's not angry. When you cut the balls off the police and start taking money away and getting them in trouble for doing their job, cleaning up the streets, well, the streets aren't so clean anymore. They don't like... I mean, what are you going to do? You can't take away the power then expect them to still do stuff, right?
Yeah. That's I mean, I don't know. I we did an episode on Uvalde. And so I won't really bring that chat up again, but just, you know, they're bringing out the more and more the evils of the police officers in that situation, and I'm not going to argue that. I agree with everything everybody's saying, but it's also hard to not see the other side of what's been happening in the last 2 years, and everyone got what they wanted.
Yeah.
Everyone got what they want. You want lawlessness. Again, it comes back to this lawlessness, and we're trying to pick and choose where we want our lawlessness, and this is why laws are written, because over here on this side of things, this is how we want it, and then something happens over here, and we freak out, oh my God, I can't believe this happened. Well, this is what you wanted. We had black men, and I'm going to say black men, that had knives being pulled on police officers, where police officers had to shoot them, or they were pulling knives on women that they were trying to actually rescue. All right. And we can't do that. We pick that apart, but then we have this over here. Well, police were there, and this kid had a gun, and why wasn't anything done about it? Well, what do you want us to do? You can't have it both ways.
Yeah.
What do you want us to do? I mean, I'm sure, like I said, I'm not doubting the evils in the police department on that. I'm not even going to stick up for it. But let's also pat ourselves on the back. We got what we wanted, though.
Yeah, this is what everyone... Yeah, it's true, I like it when they show the picture, of the thug, and it's the picture when he's like in middle school, back when he was still a good kid, still dressed nice, wasn't totally gangstered out, You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Every time, someone gets shot, that's what they show, the nicest picture they can. Not what they look like when the police were called on them, because you don't want to see that picture, because then you wouldn't feel bad for them. It's all part of the narrative.
Oh man, the brainwashing.
Yeah.
And that's what's wrong with this country, is the brainwashing, and I feel like that's what's happening right now with the transgender agenda. I'm going to be honest, the MAPS agenda.
Yeah.
This lawlessness. It's like it's what's that word I'm looking for? God, I used to love that terminology and I can't remember it. It's where you turn stuff on people. Something happens, you say that didn't happen, then you make this happen.
Oh yeah. God damn. What's the name of that?
It's a great term, man. But anyways, I feel like it's a bad relationship right now, and I feel like this is the breakdown of the country. I feel like this has been the goal for the last 40, 50 years, because the stuff that was happening in our homes on a personal level is starting to happen on a national level, and the way we fight each other and the way our society and culture fights is a lot like a bad relationship. Because the family is no longer strong. We have gotten used and accustomed to this game males and females play with each other. When you cheat on somebody and they find the panties in the car. I don't know where those came from. That's not what you think. Then the woman finds out it's her friend. Then there's arguing why it's her fault. Okay, yes, that's on a small scale. But see, we're starting to vote according to the way we understand this bullshit. We have divorce rates so high in this country right now. And I just love it when, the psychologists will tell you and the judges will tell you, everyone tells you, don't involve the children in adult things, meaning, the fighting, the arguing, what divorced kids go through. But it's like once you get divorced, the kids are involved in the situation. Yeah. When the kids have to travel between states, when the kids have to stay with someone uncomfortable that they don't know, when mommy is picking the wrong guys and they get molested, and I'm not saying that happens in every situation, but it is a huge number.
Yeah,
it's a huge number. Or daddy's new drug habit because mommy left. I mean, the kids are involved. I'm tired when people say the kids aren't involved. And the thing is, we made it in this country too easy to leave your wife, too easy to leave your husband, too easy to have to, I gotta be careful how I word this, but women have these rights and men have these rights, and then at the end everyone's being selfish and narcissistic with each other. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because these little tiny behaviors that's happening in our homes, then now these kids bouncing back and forth through home that think it's normal to stay over here, meet this strange person. Now we got promiscuous girls that don't have dads when they're 16, and we have these sissy boys that don't have a life and they're worthless. These are the people that are growing up and becoming senators in Congress. These are the people that are voting now. These are the people that think they have opinions what the problem in the country is, but they don't, because we're breaking down. That's one of the biggest and best war tactics you'll ever read in any ancient book. When you start breaking down the people, you start to own them. And I really feel like a lot of what's happening in the country has been going on 50 years to start to break down our thinking, make us confused. Because everyone says, this is the way it is now. No, we're accepting that brainwashing. That's the way it is.
Well, look at Rome. Rome was pretty great too, and that crumbled from within. I kind of see us headed down the same path.
Exactly.
It's horrible shit, man. How do you stop it?
I don't know. I don't know, because now people think it's normal. It's normal to be promiscuous. It's normal to have 3 or 4 different wives. And I'm not knocking people who have gotten divorced, but let's be honest, when you're on your second wife and you're moving on, I think people need to take a step back and be, okay, this needs to fucking stop.
Yeah, how many times?
And how many people do you need to date? And the point is, everyone's getting broken hearts, right? I mean, that's all you hear. That's all. Everyone you talk to every day talks about a broken heart, the way their mom and dad is, the way their spouse is. We are really turned on each other, in my opinion. And the point I'm trying to make is, this is how we're voting. This is how we understand stuff. We're very dysfunctional in our society right now, And then we have these political views where we're going to sit down and talk and have opinions when we ourselves don't even know what the hell we're doing in our own home, but yet we're going to go out there and we're going to take charge and we're going to war and we're going to march about things that need to change, but yet your kids are switching homes every weekend. You're with a different guy every night. Daddy's drunk. So who are you to change? And the thing is, that makes me think about this, sorry I'm rambling on, is I see this with Joe Biden. He can't talk. He's falling up the stairs. He has his son on cocaine. The guy does weird shit with kids. And you know what? I hear people defend him the same way that a dysfunctional woman defends the husband that's in and out of the beats her that's in and out of prison. It's almost the same exact conversation because this is what we're getting used to in this culture.
Yeah, like half of America has battered wife syndrome.
I like that term.
Yeah, that's it, man.
We need to use that for something.
Battered wife syndrome.
Battered wife syndrome. And we're not picking on women. This is a man and a woman thing here,
right,
man.
And it's true. It happens. It's kind of hit. We got this senile old bastard, and everyone just accepts it. People like the guy. People out, leave a comment if you're a supporter of him, just drop us a line. I'd like to talk to you because I haven't met one of you guys yet, and I'd like to know how you think, what you think about. You
haven't met one?
No.
Dude, I'm surrounded by them.
Yeah,
the arguments are stupid. I don't want to interrupt your thought. I'll just say this really fast. I could have an intelligent conversation with someone that's like, I do believe in abortion. I don't mind killing babies. I don't mind the high gas prices. I do like what Biden's doing. I can talk to them. I don't like them. I still think they're stupid, but I get them. Most of them I talk to, they don't know what they're talking about. That's what makes it hard.
Most of the ones I talk to, they don't like Trump.
Okay, I get where you're coming from.
Anything would be better than Trump, even a fucking senile old man. He can't fight his way out of a wet paper sack, but, we like this guy. Why? Because he's not Trump. There's such a stigma against Trump. Look, how many millions of freaking dollars have we wasted on this stupid insurrection bullshit? How many people died in that? How many people died in Afghanistan when we bailed out of there? People talk about the wrong things.
And see, as Americans forget stuff.
Yeah.
We forgot about all that. We have totally forgotten about all that. We should be pissed on both sides, and no one's talking about it.
Yeah. It's not bad policy in America that's causing these, bad economy and high gas prices. It's the war with Russia, who we don't get our gas from. Okay, the war in Russia and Ukraine is the problem. And people swallow it. I just don't get it. I'd like to meet one of those people, and have an educated conversation if we could. It'd be kind of nice.
An educated conversation, not a conversation filled with emotions.
Yeah, right.
Not a conversation. Well, because here I'm gonna go with this. This is some of you are gonna laugh at this, and I'm being honest. Trump was a bad, horrible man, and just so people understand, I'm not a super Trumper. I have been liberal and Democrat, and I was against Trump. And you know what? I was doing it blindly because I was listening to everybody, and I didn't have my own thought. Then in 2020 is when I started really studying, just because I think all of us were forced to. Yeah. I think that's why there's a division in the country, because we were forced to, because many of us that were liberals, we had our own people turning on us, and we're like, what the hell? We start seeing Republicans complaining about this, conservatives, and you start thinking they might be onto something because you guys are eating each other up alive. When people call me wrong, call me evil for some of my thoughts and feelings, hey, I was on your side, and you guys are the ones
who pushed me off of it.
And a lot of people are being pushed off of it. A lot of people. But here's a thought that, I won't get too big on the Trump train, but one thing I will say that I started liking the guy is the way he was battling the politicians. And I hate it. I'm going to be honest. I can't stand it. I can't stand it when people say, well, even the people that like him. Now, I'm taking the Trumper side right now. This is what Trumpers say. I'm not even going to talk about the liberals. Liberals will be like, oh, yeah, the Trumpers are right. Every Trumper I know, it's a hardcore Trumper, is like, well, the way he talked sometimes, he was good with this, but the way he addressed stuff and the way he said stuff, and oh my God, that one time he made fun of that retarded guy, sometimes his tweets were a little rough. Okay, now, but here's the thing. Here's where all of them are wrong. Liberals and conservatives are wrong. And I don't care if you say I'm wrong. Go in a boxing ring. I feel like this is the equivalent, picking on Trump and the way he handled stuff. Okay? This is the equivalent. you're watching a boxing match. Boxing matches, there's different rules, but we're watching one where the goal is to either get lots of points or you knock the guy out.
Right.
Guy comes in, starts hitting hard. Let's talk about Mike Tyson. You saw how aggressive, fast, and hard he went in. Can you imagine sitting down at that fight and being like, I don't like the way. I don't think Mike Tyson should be hitting like that. That's not fair. I don't think he should be swinging like that. Why? Okay, watch MMA. Why is he choking? He's not choking him out, is he? Why is he choking him out? You shouldn't choke him out. Why are they fighting like that? You're going, okay. The point being, you have Trump up there that's a businessman that wants to keep making money. Everyone picks on him for that. I'm like, thank God someone that wants to make money is in office.
Yeah. Can't be swayed with money that way.
So he's dealing with pedophiles, he's dealing with elites, he's dealing with people that are trying to take away your freedoms, people that are trying to shut down your business, people that are lying. I mean, he's dealing with the boyfriend that is hitting you and giving you a black eye, then telling you why it's your fault. He's the guy coming in and being like, I'm sick of this shit. I'm sick of seeing you hit her. Well, I hope he doesn't. Don't talk to him that way. I love him. I love him. He loves me. We have a kid together. How dare you?
Well, that's it. He called people out. He did what we've all wanted to do for a long time. He called a lot of the politicians out on the shit they were doing wrong. And people didn't like that. Was he a good guy? I don't know. Never knew him. But did he run the country good? Fuck yeah, he did. Just go back a couple of years. Look where we were at. Even with COVID. Economy wasn't this bad.
No.
So, people could say what they want, but just his track record. He's the only guy that didn't take money. Couldn't be corrupted with money, unlike the guy we have now who's ran by money. He does whatever money tells him to do.
Now, see right there, I'll stick up for liberals. Liberals probably say, well, Trump's the same way. Exactly. He is the same way. And he realizes if this country falls apart, he's not going to be making that money. A smart businessman will be like, hey, if we fall down, I'm going to be losing millions.
Hey, well, I say...
You know what I'm saying?
I got an analogy for that. I say, if I told you right now to take off your clothes and run up the street, you'd tell me to piss off. But if I handed you $1 million, you'd be stripping right now doing it, right?
I'd probably want to take a pill first.
Well, either way, you would do it. You would do whatever I wanted for $1 million.
Well, I don't know, man.
You know what I'm saying. I'm talking about running down the street. Not whatever I want. All right. But if you were a multi-billionaire and I offered you $1 million to run up the street naked, you'd tell me to piss off. You'd offer me $10 million for me to do it. And guess what? I'd do it. When you don't,
family's hungry.
No,
recession's coming.
Exactly.
Actually, recession's here, but that's another show.
So that was my thought. He went in there with the money that he earned. He's a good businessman. He couldn't be swayed by all the people that don't have as much money. Just logical to me. So
he was just so mean with the poor Clinton lady. I just know that bugs so many people. And now there's a lot of stuff. That's another episode.
Oh, yeah.
That's a whole other episode that's coming out. Believe it or not, that trail is getting pretty hot.
Hey.
That trail is getting pretty hot. I'm just not going to mention a lot because I like to have stuff to back it up. People, there's enough out there about this stuff. Yeah. And they're keeping a lot of that hush-hush, too.
Yeah, I hope one day they all pay. Wouldn't that be nice? I think that's the part that's the most frustrating is watching what's happened to America and realizing you're powerless to stop it. What can you do to stop it? Vote new people in. Yeah.
Can you vote?
Yeah. Can you vote? Showing ID. Well, that's racist. You have to show it. You want to see if I'm a legal citizen to vote? Well, you can't do that. And yet, if I want to buy a pack of cigarettes, I need my ID. I want to get on a plane. I need an ID. I want to buy alcohol. I need my ID.
Well, if you're in New York, you got to have your ID and a piece of paper now.
Yeah. So, it just doesn't make sense. And what can you do to fix it? That's depressing.
I just love the same people that had the argument about racist and voter suppression were the same ones that thought everyone should have that COVID vax card. Huh. I just think that's so funny on Facebook. People, they're taking a picture of their ID and that's the highlight of your life. Yeah. If you're not picture ID, but the picture of the passport.
Well, it's kind of like oppression. That basketball star, that WNBA star that's in Russia right now. Going to be doing some prison time. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I didn't follow that one really close, but
well, she was in there for bringing vape cartridges, marijuana vape cartridges into the country. She said it accidentally fell into her bag, but I don't know. Like, let's be honest. In America, you can vape. Vaping's legal. You go to another country, you see what oppression's all about. You break the laws, you can't hire a good lawyer and get the hell out of it.
Oh, man. The other day I posted, because I'm sick of this abortion thing really is, I don't like to talk about it because and I don't want to get off the subject too much, but it's funny what you just now said about that, because I started doing a little bit of research online. I started posting some stuff on Facebook to stir the rat's nest, because sometimes I like to piss people off. And this abortion thing and women's rights and our rights are being taken away. And I started posting stuff about Saudi Arabia and some of the live videos of women being stoned. Like, there you go, right there. Yeah. So, I mean, and my point is the people were threatening to leave the country. I'm like, hey, I'm kind of helping you guys out. Here's some spots you could possibly start a new life at. Yeah. Here's a new life right here.
And for people who don't know what getting stoned means, it's not the smoking the marijuana. It's someone throwing rocks at you until you were dead.
Yeah, because we're just talking about vape. You have people confused.
Yeah. So you're getting stoned means they throw rocks at you until you expire. And they usually start with small rocks so they can make the pain last for a long time. And that shit still happens. It still happens. You want to talk about oppression, go to another country. Because here in America, you're free. You can vape all you want here. In Russia, and again, though, the part that's depressing about that is this lady broke the law. She's not a war criminal or something. She's not a prisoner. And yet we're probably going to end up trading her for one of the Russian criminals we have in prison right now. Like a Russian terrorist is going to get traded for this basketball star who broke the law. And she's black. She has a wife. So with the narrative that's going around in the news, Biden kind of has to act. He kind of has to get her. Otherwise, all these people he's been, saying he cares about.
Here we go. There's going to be terrorist acts.
Yeah.
Not protesting. There's a difference. See, that's another thing too, man. Just in the United States right now, in what would you call it? The what wife syndrome? The battered wife syndrome, man. Yeah. Just the battered wife syndrome. We're going to totally just buy. We want to call terrorism protesting.
Yeah.
I only hit you once.
I
didn't hit you that hard,
and you made me do it.
I didn't push you into that wall.
You made me do it, and I still love you. That's how the shit is. They get away with it.
And that's what's gonna happen.
That's it.
Like that battered wife syndrome.
Yeah. BWS, yeah.
BWS. I don't want to steal that from you. I feel like if I do anything with that and money comes in, I need to give you like, hey man, here's your $5, man. Yeah. We did $10 worth of sales over the last 10 years.
Hey, you like it, you can take it. There's no patent on that, folks.
Battered wife syndrome.
Battered wife syndrome. It's a thing, I think. I'm pretty sure it's real.
Yeah, I'd write a book about that, and then you're going to get women with self-help, some liberal woman that thinks she's under oppression under a man because he just didn't want her staying out till 3 o'clock in the morning being roofied, So she's going to read a self-help book, battered women syndrome. She's going to think, I have that, and she's going to read it like, what the hell is this shit, man? This guy's like a total Trumper.
He must be white and privileged.
Oh, man. Before we end the show, man, I got to tell you, man, I'm tired of that. I've been hearing this last few weeks, man. I got a few projects going on, and I've had to have some thick skin about hearing about the evils of me being white. I've been a good sport, but I just want to say, screw your racism, people.
Yeah, screw your racism. Screw your freedom and screw your racism. Yeah, thanks, Arnie. Thank you.
Oh, Arnie.
Yeah. Yeah, you get rich off the Americans, and now screw our freedom, buddy? Come on. In Austria, you're just another musclehead. You're nobody over there. Over here, you're something. Or at least you used to be.
Used to be. Now everybody does it.
Yeah.
There's no more tough guys, though, in Hollywood. They're all... The new tough guy movies are weird. They're fruitcakes.
You know what Alice Cooper said? He had a good quote. He said, if you get your news from people in Hollywood, you're a fucking idiot.
Before we go, this should be another episode, but yeah, here's the thing, because I'm involved in the arts, And being around artists, all these artists are so smart politically, and I'm being a smartass right now. And they know, and it's like, okay, if you're working on your craft and you're working on whatever you're doing, whether it's in theater or you're doing a concert, I'm talking about artists that are, I wouldn't say they're at the top, but they're mid-range artists,
Performing artists.
you know, even the higher class ones, which I don't work with. You're so busy with what you're doing, you don't know what's going on politically. And that's why we look at celebrities. That's why we look at some of these musicians. And I think some of us are like, why don't we like them preaching to us? Why don't we like it? You know why? Because they don't have time. If they're a damn good guitar player, they don't have time to watch TV and figure out what's going on, or read a book, or get into files that you can get onto online and study certain cases. You don't have the time for it.
What's an actor and actress? There's somebody who's paid millions of dollars to lie
pretend.
to us. They lie to us.
Well, okay, yeah.
You know, I mean, that's what it is, you know? You know, Tom Cruise, you're not really a freaking super spy, okay? You're not. But in the movies, you are. I get it. You know, you're paid to lie to us and look like that.
See, I have a different perspective. When you're a kid, you go outside, you play He-Man, you have the toys, you know.
But you're not really He-Man.
You pretend like you're the Ninja Turtle attacking the foot soldier. They are now paying me. Well, they're not, but I'm just putting myself in their shoes. They're paying me to pretend like a child and have people sit there and watch me. Isn't it weird? If you think about it, isn't that weird? If there's aliens out there watching us, they're looking at this. This guy's making $1 million. He's prestigious and elite by these simpletons sitting down and watching them play. And this is documented on a DVD. This is documented on digital format.
It is real.
Watching them. And the thing is, they're so intricate about how they play. They write out how they play.
They gotta feel it.
They gotta feel it. That's not good enough. They go to school to learn how to play. And the aliens are like, well, this is like adolescent stuff, and you grow up out of this. And they actually have a school and training on how to do this.
You remember the old days? It was before our time, but you know, they used to throw cabbage and tomatoes at musicians and people in theater.
Well, we should do that again.
Yeah, I say bring it back.
Yes.
You know, Sean Penn, I'm talking about you.
Oh man, I keep track of the musicians. I don't keep track of the actors.
Oh.
There's a lot of musicians. They need a big ass rotting cabbage upside their head.
Yeah. Oh, I'm with you.
This new rock, I love it. And then I hear people say you're getting old. No, I'm not getting. I love new creative stuff. I love it. But dude, this new stuff on the rock station, they were playing that on the pop station back in 2000. It's not new. It just switched over to rock.
Yep.
And we hated it then, and we hate it now.
But yet somehow there's a following. It's out there. People are buying these albums or downloading them.
Sorry, dude. I know you're gonna hate me saying this. It's the drugs.
you know. I wish I could go with you, but on that one. But you know, I smoke some weed, and I don't think I've ever been that stoned where the shit sounds good.
Are you sure? Like you don't put in some of this new rock stuff?
Oh,
like,
no.
man, that hit a nerve.
No.
I can feel it.
No, I cannot relate to these.
But you know, okay, I'm not picking on weed. I'm not picking on weed. There's there's a lot of weird shit. Like there's that new pink cocaine. I don't know if you've seen that stuff. It's actually a mixture of everything. It's a mixture of absolutely everything. That's another topic for another show. We're actually running out of time.
Samples?
It's in Colombia.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So that's another topic for another time. But
need a passport.
Yeah, you got to be careful, man, because they have fentanyl in that.
Hey, but if I get caught with it and I get in trouble, would I still be oppressed?
I don't know. What color is your skin?
Right now it's golden. Golden
brown. You're headed there.
Oh shit. Well, folks.
There you have it. There you have it. Thank you for tuning in to Sideshow America. Hopefully we didn't say anything that got us banned. If we did, oh well. I don't care.
It's all right. You can kiss my ass. You ban us, we don't like you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Anyways,
sorry, we're going to edit that out.
Thank you for your support. You'll hear from us again, maybe, unless we get in a fight out there or something.
Hopefully we're safe.
Yeah.
Bye, folks.